Welcome to Prescribing Lifestyle, the podcast that's all about empowering you to live your healthiest, happiest life. I'm your host, Dr. Avi Charlton, and each week we'll dive into the latest research, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you optimize your well-being. From nutrition and fitness to mental health and mindfulness, we'll explore every aspect of lifestyle medicine, giving you the tools you need to make informed decisions and take control of your health. Whether you're looking into preventing disease, managing chronic conditions, or simply elevate your quality of life, Prescribing Lifestyle is here to guide you on your journey to wellness. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on this transformative adventure towards a healthier, happier you. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle. Today, I have a treat for you. I've invited a dear friend, Barry Shipside. He's going to come in and talk about his journey. He's got a lot to learn from. He had an amazing weight loss journey. His health has improved and his mindset has improved a lot. We're going to introduce him and he's going to tell you a bit more about himself. So welcome, Barry. Thank you for coming to the Prescribing Lifestyle podcast.
Thank you, Avi. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the chance to tell people my story.
Great. I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us about your journey, your lifestyle journey, and how did you discover low carb and improve your health?
Certainly, I'm 69 now. It all started when I was 65. I've been overweight all my life as a kid. It's amazing, in the early 60s, I was the only fat kid in school, but I was, and there were very few times in my life when I was anything but fat. I had a couple of big efforts when I was 30 with tablets and lost a bit of weight, and also mid-50s, but that was just through starvation and exercise. So, yeah, there's been a couple of times when I've seen myself as being a thin kind of person. I was really happy about that, but the rest of my life's been overweight but fit generally. I like to keep going with sport and stuff like that, but it was always an issue. I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm thinking, I didn't see a fat person, but I went side on and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm seeing a fat person. And I used to shock myself on a regular basis of how bad that was. Ultimately, when I was 65, though, my son was about to be married. That was kind of like in the COVID era. And his wedding was about 2 months off. And I'd sort of said to myself, I need to lose weight for this wedding. So I know how to lose weight. I thought I did anyway. And that was basically, less food. I definitely lived a low fat lifestyle. I didn't touch anything with fat in it. And I was quite strict with that.
Yeah.
The usual, and more exercise, and here we go. And it's like sometimes this diet worked, and other times you'd get a week in and you'd lose a bit, and then it would all come back on again. You're thinking, why am I doing this? And I was sitting at Ferguson's. It's 1 kilometre away, just less than a kilometre away from here, where I was over there this morning with my wife. I was sitting there a few years back having my skinny latte. Of course, it was a skinny latte because I wanted to be skinny.
Yes.
Doesn't everybody? So. And I've been on my super duper 438th diet for about a week, and I've lost a kilo because you weigh yourself every day, and that's what you do. Did I lose weight? Yes, so I lost half a kilo or whatever, and then I jumped on the scales that morning, and I had actually a week later put that kilo back on and a little bit more. So I was pretty despondent sitting there, and I was kind of like thinking myself, okay, people are fat, I'm fat. And I was almost just about to give up, thinking, this is who I am, this is what I am. I've tried and tried and tried. I've tried the weight loss stuff. And I'm not dumb. I do know what good food was. I thought I knew what good food was. I used to have the best no-fat cereal, and I used to have the no-fat milk and the no-fat this and the no-fat that. But I must admit also I was quite addictive in my eating. I see there are 3 donuts there. I would eat one and then go back to the other 2. And there was no such thing as a row of chocolates or one Tim Tam or Tender. They all disappeared. I remember one year I pretty much downed all the Easter eggs.
Oh, wow.
I had to go and buy new ones. Chris said to me, my wife, she goes, you have to buy new ones. And I went out like the day before. They were all expensive. So I learned my lesson that way, in that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spent a fortune replacing all the Easter eggs. But it was my style, but I did know what was healthy and I did try and eat healthy.
Hmm.
And that was it. So I'm at that day. Here we are, one day, 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago
Mm,
now.
yeah.
Not knowing what normalization was, I do now, but thinking to myself, look, it's normal to be fat. Everyone, look around me, everyone else is fat and stuff like that. I'm just going to have to put up with that. And then one thing happened. It was bizarre. A friend of mine, Michelle, she had the same kind of dog that we did. She walked around the corner and she just stood in front of me, and she just looked like healthy and shiny and happy and thin. And I said to her, "What have you done to yourself? You look amazing." And she goes, "Well, I've met a new man in my life, but he's also into the right kind of food, low carb nutrition." And then he rocked up a
Oh,
few
wow.
minutes later and he introduced me. And they look like they should have been on the front of a Clio magazine. Seriously, they were, they were mid 50s and they looked absolutely fantastic. And I did say to them, "Well, good on you," because I said, "I'm sitting here thinking that I'm fat and I'm not going to be any other thing that's fat." And he started talking about a relaxed carnivore diet. And I was curious. I'm thinking, well, okay, I've tried everything else. And he talked about it and told me a little bit. I got his phone number because I didn't know him personally.
Yeah.
I got his phone number. He said, "Do you want to call me? Happy to do so." And I spent the next probably hour at Ferguson's looking up carnivore diet on my phone with another skinny latte because they tell you stay thin, having skinny lattes. And I read about the diet, and I kid you not, Avi, I was, can I die with a carnivore diet? Is that going to kill me? I looked that up over and over again, and
Wow.
I kept seeing all these weird things. Oh, this has really helped me, and so forth. And I'm going, well, there's not a lot of information out there saying it's killed them, but there seems to be a lot of information out there saying that's helped them. So I walked home and I said to my wife, thinking that he said I could eat meat and fish and eggs and cheese and that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, so I really love meat, fish and cheese
Yeah.
and eggs and cream, and I really does. But then I couldn't eat, like the pastas and the breads and the high
Hmm.
carby food.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, I can get by without the rice, even though I love rice. I can get by without the pasta, even though my wife cooks pasta a lot. Um, she's Greek, but I think she thinks she's Italian. And then I said, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't have the bread." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not too sure I can do that. That
Mm,
seemed like a real stumbling block to me.
hmm.
Then I'm thinking to myself, but I like the other stuff. I really think that I can substitute the bacon and the eggs for the cereal. I really think I can do the meat. And the thing about this was I wasn't going to go hungry. He said, "No, you're allowed to eat as much as you want." And I've never, ever, ever, ever been on a diet where I haven't done anything but starve and just thought about food all the time. And I'm thinking, and there's no mention of salad. I'm thinking, I'm thinking, wow. I said this. It was kind of like kill or cure. And by the time I walked back around the lake to get home and see my wife, I sort of decided I need to do this. I need to try it because I mean nothing else has worked, and I was really, really desperate. And it was like kind of like a sign from heaven saying, "There's something here to try." And I said to her, "I'm going to try being a carnivore." And she looked at me and she goes, "Go for it."
Oh,
And
wow. She was very
I thought,
supportive. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm thinking, wow, okay. And then my daughter came by, who's university educated and done some nutrition work at university
Hmm.
as well. And I said that to her, and she said to me, "You're going to kill yourself with the fat." And I'm going, okay,
Mm,
you're going to have a heart attack and die. And
hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, she's probably right, but I really wanted to give it a bash. And I promised her that I would do it for 3 months and then I'd
Hmm.
get some blood tests done
Hmm.
to see, just to make sure I wasn't, getting worse or dying or something like that. And
Hmm.
that's, that's how it started, Avi. It started like that 4 years later.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a process, but I understand the despair that people have in being overweight. But ultimately, 4 years later, I can look back now and say this wasn't a weight loss journey. It never was.
Yep.
It
Yep.
was it was a health journey,
Yep.
but I didn't never realised that at first. And it got to the stage where I didn't weigh myself. I lost 30 kilograms like in 8 months. I mean, I was looking trim. I was great. I looked really good.
Yeah.
I said to Christian, "You have to sharpen up, mate. I look really good now." I used to let the side down, but now it's kind of like. it was kind of funny, but I felt good. I looked good, and I ended up going through into ketosis probably after. I didn't know anything about that. I had no idea what was going on. But
Okay.
I used to go for a walk most mornings anyway. Just a nice place to go for a walk. And after about a kilometre, I started feeling really kind of like, oh,
Yep. Yep.
And one morning I got to that kilometre mark and suddenly like I had the afterburners on. I'm thinking 1 kilometre's not enough. I need to go further. And I was so got fat adapted without real knowing about that. And
Oh, okay.
and I had the old bacon and eggs again for morning number 90. I couldn't stomach it. I said, because I can't eat this. I really can't. And I thought it was because I was sick of bacon and eggs, but no, it wasn't that. It was because I wasn't hungry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Did you
Yeah.
know
And
about
then
the salt? Did you have
no,
extra salt?
I had no help at all.
No.
I had nothing to go by back in those days. It was just simply me, getting onto YouTube and reading up on the net and stuff like that and getting mixed messages. I knew I was feeling better. My doctor was on my side, didn't know what I was doing, but he goes, "Oh, if you're losing weight, that's good." But I do remember waking up one morning. I was on blood pressure tablets, of
Mm.
course.
Yep. Yep.
I was just about passing out, and I'm going, "Oh, that's it, I'm gone." And I rang him up, and he goes, "Get off the blood pressure tablet straight away." And I went round there. My blood pressure it just dropped so much. Instead
Oh,
of being like
wow.
the 140s over the 90 kind of thing, it ended up being when I went over there, it was about 110 over about 80 or something like that. And he goes, "Your blood pressure's fantastic. Don't take blood pressure tablets." So I got off those tablets for starters. So I'm thinking, okay, we're getting there. But the first 8 months was really tough, and I sort of was stuck in COVID. I used to walk around the lake listening to
Hmm.
podcasts and
Hmm.
reading as many books as I could get my hands on. But it was all basically me. I had no support. And I eventually found a low carb doctor in Torquay because there was one there. That was Mary Barston.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Mary. Yeah.
and I thought, okay, there's a low carb doctor. Maybe I need to go and see her and talk to her.
Yeah.
Am I doing this right? But apparently I was doing everything on right. But since then, so that was 8 months after my journey started. It was a solo effort. I lost the weight.
Yep.
Definitely got healthier. Definitely got lighter.
Hmm.
And then between then and now, it's been more a question of like my body saying, I used to have the junk carb, the
Yes.
Noshu bars.
Hmm.
It's low carb. I can have that. And I remember the first 8 months, I'd have the cheesecake with the erythritol and I'd be
Hmm.
making jelly slices because they're all low carb as well. And that was all good fun. But bit by bit, my body, the healthier it got, the more it rejected that food.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah. Did you
it
feel unwell
basically,
eating it?
yeah, it did. It sort of went in one end and literally was out
Uh,
the other end before he could blink an eyelid. And I got to the point where I'm thinking this food is just not good for me, and I got purer and purer, and to the point now where if it's got numbers on the end, I tend not to have it or preservatives. It's really is just simply a low carb, pure food lifestyle these days. I eat when I'm hungry, which is normally once a day, and sometimes
yep.
it's a bit more, but so I'll do that. But generally speaking, I'll have a good meal at night and not worry about it for the rest of the day, and it's kind of like takes care of itself. But ultimately, it was health-based goals now, and it has been for the last 3 years. But I don't weigh myself. I don't think
Yeah.
I put on any weight. Because weight's not the point. The point is that once you eat well, I mean, what more can you do? Um, I
That's
said to my
right.
wife, if I die, I said, if I keel over with a heart attack, don't blame me now. You can blame me for the first 65 years, but don't blame me for the last 4 years because I can't do any better than what I'm doing. I'm eating
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
clean food. My body's responded to it. I'm thinner
Yeah.
than I've ever been. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I've had one slight case of COVID and I've had no colds or um, flus in that 4 year period. I had vertigo, which is where your skin goes white,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like the old Michael Jackson disease. Or I can't sing like Michael Jackson, but
Yep.
I had vertigo. It was getting worse and worse as years gone by, and I noticed
Mm.
a couple of years ago it stopped in its tracks. It was an autoimmune disease,
Yeah, it
and it
is.
just
Yes.
stopped. It's
Oh,
kind of like
wow.
it's gone. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, the vertigo's gone, blood pressure's down. I'm healthy, I'm very active and stuff like that, and I fit into good clothes. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so
And you feel
yeah,
much better, much more energy in yourself?
yeah. Since I got fat adapted, my head just went exploded with levels of concentration that I've never known before.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
assuming I was being fueled on ketones and probably, I mean, ketosis still probably never get out of it, but I found that I was reading books and concentrating. I read a book for the first time in probably 30 years because I could concentrate on reading the book.
Wow, that's
Just
amazing.
just happened to be Jason Fung actually, so that was a good experience, that one. So it was kind of like it was mind and body, the whole thing worked together.
Yep, yep.
It's been a very easy process. I must admit there are people who are listening to this thinking that, yeah, I'm never going to be like this. This is not going to happen to me. Well, I thought that too,
Mm,
because when that guy told me that very first day that look, he only ate once a day, I just looked at him going, mate, that just doesn't make sense. Come on, get serious. I mean, I used to plan my life around food.
yes.
Pretty much went away to Sydney. I'd be eating before we left, just in case I got hungry. Then I'd be eating down the Manly Wharf, just in case I got hungry on the ferry trip. Then I'd be
Okay.
topping up in Sydney again, and then working out where we're going to have lunch. So it really was food obsessed.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, I understand that. I know that, and,
Yeah,
and I think there'll be people who listen to resonate that think food's really
absolutely.
important, and saying, no, I can't get to the stage where I'm going to not have 3 meals a day. And you may not, but the bottom line is if you eat the right food, you can stay full, stay healthy. It's just every time you eat something, you make the right choice or a better choice than what you've been making. And you can break through barriers that you never knew existed and stuff like that. Not everyone's going to
Mm,
get fat adapted and be in ketosis all their life. But, when you knock down the carbs, as a consequence, you'll become healthier.
yep,
Uh,
yep,
and even if you do it with the trashy food, like the various bars and, various fake sugars and stuff like that, even if you go down that route, and I think that's a good route to go down actually to
yep.
get to the end result. And I'm glad that
Mm,
they were there. There's a bit of a crutch for me.
yep,
So that really helped. But eventually, that's a good crutch, and they just went by the wayside now, and I don't sort of take that stuff anymore.
yep.
So for anyone thinking I can't do it, well, the weird thing is you start making a few good choices. It's not about being hungry, and it's not about starving yourself, and it's not about exercising either. It's just really about eating good food. Because I mean,
Mm.
ultimately, I realised I had one donut. Well, you're going to have to walk for a long time to get rid of that donut. Because I've got a machine. I had a treadmill machine, walking and sort of, running one at the same time. It was called whatever. Anyway, so I jumped on that.
Ellipta or something.
The elliptical, that's the one, the
Yep.
elliptical thing. And I used to jump on that for 20 minutes, half an hour. I had a calorie counter on it. I got to
Okay.
like maybe, 300 calories and something like that. And I
Yeah.
worked out that I'm on there for an hour and it got rid of one donut. And I'm thinking to myself, there's
And how
something
many
wrong
donuts do you
here.
normally have?
Well, there'll be more than the one. And I'm thinking to myself, there's something weird going on here. And you start doing the sums and you realize it's not about exercising the weight off.
Yes,
It's about not putting the junk in your mouth in the first place.
that's right.
And
Yes.
then any exercise you do is a super duper bonus. And then when you do get adapted or get metabolic adapted, in other words, you can burn ketones for fuel. Before that, I'd go and exercise. And the first thing would happen after spending half an hour, 40 minutes or an hour on the trainer, I'd come off and I'd be hungry because I'd burn up all my carb load.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Did
get
you
hungry.
know
So
if, yeah, did you know if you were insulin resistant before you
I
started the
did.
journey?
Okay. I know, yes, I would have been because I was pre-diabetic at that stage as well.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know much about blood sugars and stuff like that. I do know that I was hitting sixes and stuff like that. That I was getting worse every time I went, and that was without checking my insulin levels. So you can
Yep.
just assume the blood sugars were going up. You could just assume the insulin sensitivity was going down at the same time, but it was never
Yes.
checked because the doctors don't do that. So
Yeah, yeah.
ultimately, when I did go back after that 3 months, check my blood sugar was 5.5. I knew about HbA1cs then. No, that
Okay.
was mid fives as well.
Oh,
So
wow. So went from the
and I,
sixes to the fives.
yeah, and I think the triglycerides popped down under one at the stage, and the HDL,
Great.
never big on HDL, but went up to 1.2. So in other words, all those markers that turned around, relatively quickly
Yep.
for me. But the good thing is, I'm not too sure if I knew that 3 months later, but I certainly knew that within the 8 month period because I studied a lot of stuff on cholesterol and stuff like that. But
Yep.
now we have wonderful help, like people such as yourself, a doctor who you can actually go to who's proficient at low carb and medicine
Mm,
combined. It's such a powerful combination because if I
mm.
if I had you 4 years ago, Avi, it would have been a different a whole different thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
you do it in the now. There's so many more. ways to get help. Like, your Facebook group is absolutely brilliant, because people are on there going through the same journey and stuff like that. So doing it solo is tough. But the motivation was there to do that. But now you've got so much help on the site, and also doctors such as, well, not, I'm going to say doctors such as yourself. I'm thinking doctors such as yourself, because I mean, I don't know too many low carb doctors around, but to have
Mm,
that resource to make yourself not just lose weight, but to make yourself be healthy is
yes.
is amazing. Now I'm 69 now. It's been 4 years since then. I've got pictures of me back when I was 60. I look better now than I did when I was just 60.
Yeah,
I reckon
yeah.
I've gotten younger over the time. I've got a granddaughter now. I'm retired, so my time's my own, and the ability to travel. Health. This health business is really all of. Is the main thing that you've got at this age, because without this health, you've got resources to do other things, but if you haven't got your health, it's not going to happen.
That's it. Yeah.
It's super important, and
I think it's such
also
an amazing journey you've had.
it's
And it's,
also
yeah,
sorry.
you're right. Yeah,
I was just going to say that, as I said, the critical thing for me is that I'm not killing myself,
that's it. Yeah.
and I'm not talking about your average everyday. My wife, for instance, I'll use her as an example.
Hmm.
She's not overweight. I've checked all her bloods. I don't know which ones to have a look
Yeah.
at. So
Hmm.
HbA1c is great. Her insulin resistance is low. She's the sort of person who can go and have a row of chocolates
Hmm.
and stop. And she's the sort of person who'll have a few twisties and stop. She's the sort of person who won't eat breakfast in the morning, or maybe she will, but mostly she won't. And she's got all that kind of self control that I didn't have. And you'd call her kind of like average healthy for her age.
Yeah.
But these people are not people. She's not who I was.
Hmm.
These people can go to a dietitian and say, yeah, moderation, and you can have your carbs and have your bit of spaghetti and have your fruit and stuff like that. That's fine. Yeah, but this is not my people. This is not who I am.
That's right.
This
I
is
think
not. This is
the important thing is to know what sort of body you're built in and work on your own. Don't compare with other people.
Yeah. So you see, people getting nutrition advice from doctors. I laugh.
Mm.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but I'm laughing at most others, because
Yes.
nutrition advice from other doctors is pretty average, or a nutritionist, and they tend to treat people who are average. And they get someone who's got a weight problem, they're obese, they're diabetic, pre-diabetic, or
Yeah.
going to have diabetes for sure, have eating disorders, are totally addicted to sugar in the
Mm.
same way that you're addicted to alcohol or drugs or something like that. That is just such a thing.
Yeah.
They need, we need specific help. We need to sort of like, take this on board as being it's your life's at stake. You can become better by simply
Yeah.
changing your diet, and it's not about by exercising or starving yourself. It's terrific, and it's the knowledge. If I had that knowledge when I was like 50, I wouldn't have been where I was when I was 65.
Mm.
So the knowledge is
Yes.
available now, and it's true. It's real. It does work. So yeah.
I love all that you say. I love all your help from for my Facebook group as well. There's lots of great gems that you talk to the members about in the Melbourne Low Carb Clinic free community. There's lots and lots of good advice that you give to my members.
Yeah, it's a great place. Doing the journey on your own is tough, but now there's so much more help you can get, and I love to work with your group, Avi, because ultimately we have an expert authority running it,
Mm,
who absolutely knows and is trained and has done extra work to know. So the very fact that you're there, overlooking the group, is just a great place to go for that advice. And then you've got your, you have your free stuff, and you've got your courses, you
yeah.
have your master classes. I know you've got your dinner coming up.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of fun and stuff like that. All this, and there's this lived thing coming up as well. Next month, you're talking about it, the lived experiences thing that Tracy's doing.
Yeah, that's right. That's Tracy McBeath's event in June. She's called it the Lived Experience Conference. So that's another amazing event.
Yeah, it's 2 days worth.
Yeah.
I'm going to that, and I'm
You're
going.
going? Yeah, great.
Got the motel booked to stay at. It's a fair way away from me, so it should be fantastic to hear that kind of stuff. But it's something. Even though I've been this 4 years, and I do know a lot. I do know a lot
Yes.
more. I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, I still get nuggets virtually every time I listen in or hear someone talk or get a new insight and stuff like that. When people write on your Facebook group
Yeah.
about their experiences, there's so many new things in there, and you've also got to prompt yourself. These people are just different to you. They're not
Yes.
sharing your experience. They've got that bulk, I want to lose weight kind of mentality, and
Yes.
I'm hearing that, boy.
That's yeah.
Um, but it's kind of like those sort of groups are there, and it's just fantastic now that people have can get the knowledge and not have to worry about I'm going to kill myself in a carnivore diet
Mm,
or something like that. That's now been nicely debunked and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
so
It's
I'm
yeah.
grateful for that.
Right. It's amazing you keep learning. I think the message to a lot of people is keep learning, keep digging, keep listening to more and more people and podcasts and masterclasses. We try to spread the word around.
The one thing that will save you talking to a person who wants to lose weight, who's obese and wants to do this health journey, the most important thing that you could ever do is gain the knowledge how to do that. And then
Yes.
after that, I've been very, very lucky to help a few people locally who've come to me and they said, "Oh, look, how do I do this?" We've
Yeah.
got quite a few happy, healthy males, especially males around the place who we go and have a cup of coffee and we discuss what they need to be doing and stuff like that. And there's been a few converts around here, which is just terrific to be able to help one or two people gain their health back was fantastic for me.
Yep.
To be able to help more people through Facebook groups and stuff like that is awesome as well. But the most important thing is the knowledge. I mean, if you've got the knowledge how to do it, then it's just about making one decision. It's
That's
all
it.
about one decision. It's about making one choice at a time. And it may be the wrong choice, but the point is the very fact that you know it's the wrong choice is fantastic because you know what the right choice is ultimately. And people will, start the journey and they say, oh, I'm going to do this. Then they falter. Suddenly the chocolate rocks up or we have a
Yes.
party and this
Yep.
happens. This morning we're in Ferguson's, where it all started. And I grabbed a black coffee and Chris had a really, really beautiful looking steak and mushroom pie.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that just looked absolutely fantastic. I didn't have any desire to eat it,
No.
but I could understand how that would be so tempting for someone to say just one. But listening to this, yeah, you'll be tempted. You will probably falter at times and stuff like that. But the great thing here is that you guys know that may be the wrong choice or a poor choice, and you know the
Hmm.
difference between a poor choice and a better choice. That's the knowledge you get from being in these Facebook groups and from having people
Yeah.
like yourself, Avi. You get the knowledge to say that is wrong, but you also get the knowledge to say we can just simply make a better choice the next time we do that and start
That's
this
right.
journey again or continue on with it. And I think that knowledge is the key factor to actually becoming healthy.
Yeah, yeah. I think the main thing is to be mindful of what's going into your mouth and then work on making the good choices.
Mm. You make
That's
a list of the
great.
foods. You make get that green list out. Make a list of the stuff you like to eat, and go, "Well, I can eat that." So that's fantastic. And there's so much good stuff. I think it's a good trade-off. For me, it was a great trade-off. I mean, I used to love meat, but I used to avoid it because it's bad for
Yeah.
you. That's not true. Sorry, take that. That's not true. It's not bad for you. But I used to avoid the fatty parts of the meat because the fat will kill you as well, and that's not true either.
No.
I would always peel the skin off the chicken because that's the worst part for you.
It's the most yummiest.
It goes on. It goes on, and I never. And I had the pavlova, and I'm thinking, well, the cream's got the fat. That's the bad bit. So of course I'd eat the pavlova, and I try not to eat as much cream as I normally would. But unfortunately, yeah, that was the best bit as well. And oddly enough, when I was a child and obese, I remember Mum serving up the vegetables and the meat, and when I asked what was for dinner, I always meant what was the meat we were having for dinner.
Ah, okay, great.
I think innately people may know what's good for them. I didn't
Hmm.
like vegetables. I never ate fruit, and I thought I was going to die of scurvy. I didn't. I didn't die of scurvy, but I thought I was going to because I thought the fruit's healthy. Well,
Mm.
okay, well, there you go. Fruit's full of sugar, but yeah, maybe it's a treat more than healthy. But people think
Yeah.
fruit's healthy. I can eat it all day and I'm going to be fine. That's just not the truth. So it's kind of like there's a lot of misconceptions out there. And there's a lot of
Yes.
people have been literally brought
Brainwashed.
up on believing,
Mm.
brainwashed, 100%. And then I noticed the other day I was in Sydney and I standing in front of the fruit juice section. I wasn't going to buy
Mm.
any, but I was certainly looking at it. I noticed that all the
Mm.
stars were missing. There was not one fruit juice there with a star rating on it. And
Oh,
I was thinking to
wow.
myself,
Mm.
that's interesting. Where's the star rating going? And then I realised, of course, they were all 5-star rated. And then there was a bit of a kerfuffle, and their money could not buy the star rating anymore. And I'm going to put them down to 3 stars, which is 1 star
Oh.
above Coke, which is fair enough because that's about
Ah.
where it deserves to be, fruit juice, and because it's full of sugar. And now, because they've
Yeah.
only got 3 stars, they put no stars on, zero. So
Oh,
there's
wow.
no star rating on fruit
Okay.
juice
I didn't know
anymore.
that story.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show that, we've been taught and we've been basically influenced by TV and advertising. I mean, back in the old days, it used to be meat and vegetables, then it changed to fruit and vegetables, okay?
Yes.
The meat got by the wayside, and then we had like what I thought I used to have sanitarium stuff all the time because sanitarium, it sounds like it's a good thing. Sanitarium, it's got to be good.
It does
It's
sound
sanitary.
good.
Yeah. And now I know that sanitarium foods are probably the worst things on the shelf.
Yes.
And I know
Yes.
now that I used to go around looking for the right cereal, the ones with no sugar on it, the ones that had high fiber and the ones that
Yeah.
healthy. And now I realise that it was the entire aisle was not healthy. That
Mm.
includes the oats and the cornflakes and the no sugar. And I realised they were
Yes.
all just full of carbohydrates. And then the story comes up, oh, okay, what do we feed our cattle to make them fat? We feed them grain,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
grain-fed beef. Fantastic. And
Mm.
I think, well, that's a great way to fatten up your cows. So what do we feed humans to keep them healthy? We feed them cereal, which just happens to be grain. So for the humans, it's healthy, and for the animals, it makes them fat. And
That's
you've got to
it.
wonder just what's going on here and how people can be hoodwinked by that fallacy.
Mm.
But they
That's
are.
right.
And, breakfast, the most important meal of the day, Avie. Well, I
I
think that was
know.
invented by good old Kellogg's
That's
himself to
it.
get his cornflakes going and stuff like that.
That's right.
I, I live opposite a lake here in
Okay.
Doreen, and on that lake, it's full of ducks and bird life
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They have no doctors. They have no Facebook. They have no supermarkets, but every one of those ducks out there, they are perfectly healthy because they are just eating the food that they are supposed to eat.
Mm. Is
They are
there a
all
sign?
perfect.
Is there a sign next to the lake saying no feeding the ducks?
There is a yeah. I do feed the ducks, but I feed them grain, so I take some grain across the seed. But ultimately, the only fat things on this planet are basically humans and the things humans feed.
Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
rest of the people, the rest of them know exactly what to do naturally, what to do. So it's time. I think humans need to sort of dial this back a little bit and not be
Yeah.
influenced by advertising and stuff like that. And it's okay to have a treat, but the thing is that our life is full of treats now. I mean, everything you go in the supermarket, virtually aisle 3 through aisle 12 is just
Mm.
packaged
Right.
junk food full of numbers.
Mm. Yeah. We've got 2/3 of the supermarket junk food, and only a tiny bit is real food.
Yeah, it's pretty much aisle number. Yeah, just basically the fresh food area for me. Maybe, and after that, it gets maybe a bit of dairy, and then away you go. But I see people in the supermarket who are trying. I can't help myself look at people's
Mm. Mm-hmm.
supermarket baskets, and I
Mm.
see they've got low sugar cereal. I see that they've got
Mm.
wholemeal bread or better or high fiber bread. I see
Yeah.
they're choosing black rice. I said they are trying to
Mm.
eat healthy.
Yeah.
They're making an effort. I can see it in their baskets, and
Yes.
yet they're not.
It's so hard to not tell anything to them. I try not to say anything. I don't say anything, but in
Yeah,
my
but
mind, I would really want to.
you can't. But you could go. I mean, I know you could do. I could do this too. I know you could do this. I sit down at Ferguson's. I spend a lot of time there, by the way. It's a nice spot. At Ferguson's, and there's next to Ferguson's, and Ferguson's has got to be the worst place in the world to
Mm.
actually get. I don't think there's anything healthy in Ferguson's apart from like coffee that I can think of. It's all just absolute crap. But next to
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson's is the ice cream shop called. I can't remember. It's an ice cream shop.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally everywhere, and so and I see people running into the ice cream shop. I see people literally running into Ferguson's. They need that fix,
Oh, wow.
I see them out there, and these people are generally, you see it everywhere. People are overweight, and
Mm,
that's not unnatural. I mean, it's literally everywhere, but it's normal to be overweight. Now, I guess it is, but
yes.
you don't have to be.
Mm,
But you could go to those people and turn around and say, "I know, I can fix you. I can
mm,
fix you." Unless you've got some metabolic disorder that requires some weird medication, you're a doctor. You can fix people. They can go into you. They can
yeah,
go and see you,
yeah.
and you can fix them. You can fix people with diabetes. You can fix people who are overweight. You can fix people who are not happy, not healthy.
That's right.
You're
Well,
that person. That's
that's
amazing.
what I'm. That's why I'm trying to start this podcast, spread the message around, masterclasses, Facebook groups, and we try to tell more and more people, hopefully.
Yeah, it's you've got to be careful of normalisation. The thing that's the thing that's killing us, I think, because a mate of mine, he was a lecturer at college. He was maybe mid-70s now. Caught up with him the other day. How you
Mm,
been? And he goes, "Oh, I've got a touch of diabetes, but that's pretty typical
mm,
for my age."
yeah, yeah.
I just knee jerked on that one. It's kind of that kind of attitude
Mm,
that normalises
mm,
people being able. A mate of mine I caught up. I haven't seen him for years actually. We are both the same. We both smoked.
mm-hmm.
This was back in mid 40s. We both smoked. We were both really overweight, and we both loved our donuts. And we both, I mean, we egged each other on. We ate really, really poorly, but well for an obese person.
Yep, yep.
Up with him probably about 12 months ago. Oh, he's on Facebook. Haven't seen him for ages. He drove up and he hadn't changed much, except he was had a few toes cut off. He was,
Oh
diabetic,
no.
really badly diabetic. He was the same age as me. He can't walk. He can't walk up the stairs. He lives in his bottom story in his house, which is two-story, and has
Yep,
to
yep.
live down there because he can't get up the stairs.
Oh wow.
He can't walk around very much unless you've got a mobility scooter.
Yep, yep.
So he gets everywhere with a mobility scooter, and he was extremely obese and stuff like that. So
Wow.
I've got someone like that sitting in front of me, and he's seeing me, maybe 10, 15, 20 years later, unrecognizable to who I
Mm,
was.
yep.
And I said to Pete, I said to him, look, it is what it is. I said, but if you want a hand, I can help. I can help you.
Yeah. Did he take
I
it
said,
up?
if you want to, and he laughed and he chuckled and goes, I'm not giving up my donuts for anyone.
Yeah. Oh well.
Okay. Well, there's a choice,
No,
okay, and that is your
that's it.
choice. But
Yep.
for anyone who listens to this, you're looking in the mirror, you're seeing a person who you probably don't want to be, or know you can be healthier or skinnier, or want to be both, and who want to do something about it. And you hear about these stories and stuff like that, saying, "I'll never be able to do that," and stuff like that. You can. It's just that one decision at a time. It's one thing. Get the knowledge first of all to find out
Mm,
what you need to be doing. Understand you don't have to starve yourself. Understand there's so much good food out there you can eat on an ongoing basis. Understand you can just become healthier and better by making those choices, but you need the knowledge to do that. And I think
yeah,
that's really
yeah.
important. Mm.
Yeah. It's certainly not it's certainly sustainable, this lifestyle. So many people say, oh, keto, low carb, you can't sustain it. Everyone can't sustain it. But certainly with you, you've sustained this lifestyle for 4 years.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything different, but there's some reality checks along the way. And one of the guys I was helping was he got to a point where he lost a lot of weight and he was kind of almost down at where he wanted to be. And a typical diet scenario is, oh, I've lost my weight, like you run Weight Watchers. Oh, I'm down to my goal weight. Then I can go back
Mm,
and eat like I normally can. Well, that's not going to work. And that's probably why you get a lifelong membership to Weight Watchers, because you will be going back again and again and again because, and he reached his goal. And I said to him, okay, you're at your, you're reaching your goal weight that you think, and he looked really good. He really, really, anyway. I said to him, well, you got two choices now. I said, you can keep going the way you're going, or you can go back to the way you used to eat and then put on the weight
mm,
again.
yep,
And
yep.
he goes, but why do I keep getting skinnier and skinnier? I said, no, you won't. I said, your body's going to turn around and say, I am absolutely fine right here, right now. The old homeostasis kicks in and that's exactly what happened to him. And he's still having his big meat cook up. He loves his lifestyle. I love
Yeah,
my
yeah.
lifestyle as well. Yeah, there's nothing particularly hard about it. You get to eat all the food you want to eat when you want to eat it. I mean,
That's it.
it's not a tough ask.
That's right.
Um, so it's just a question of knowing that is there for you. And the dieting, it's not really a diet. It is a lifestyle choice, but you can pick and choose what you want. But there is, as I said, the food is there. It's good food. It's healthy food. And as time just goes by, you may refine it a little bit. Your body may just even tell you, no, you can't have that anymore, or you don't need that anymore. And
That's
suddenly,
right.
bit by bit, it can change. So
That's
I think that
amazing.
if you
Mm.
just if you jumped on the bandwagon and went low carb and still had your noshy bars and did your
Mm-hmm.
cheesecakes and stuff like that, I 100% believe you will lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And eventually, you will achieve major health goals just by that in its own right. But there is other
Yes.
levels to, I suppose.
Absolutely. I think you're right. Well, let's change direction. And you did a lot of work on your mindset. You've been training with Tracy McBeath. Tell us briefly about that.
Yeah, the body and health were under control as much as I could do. I felt like I was doing some work on the house, which is me, and the diet was kind of looking out on the outside. That was great. I mean, I've done the landscaping, and yep, that's fine, all good. The things are in place, and the thing that really was the disconnect was I understood that there was a really big connection between your gut and your brain. I
Mm-hmm.
started seeing information from people like Natalie West, who's kind of like right into this, and
Yes.
Tracy McBeath. And I actually got a book from Tracy, 100 Insights, and
Yes.
she flipped me a copy, and I read a few of those chapters, and a couple of those chapters just simply resonated with me, and about who I was, and one of them, was like there's 8 billion people in the world, and you're one. You're one, and there's no one else like you. I am, and that's it. Simple perfection, the perfect me, the perfect you. There's only
Mm-hmm.
one of you. You must be perfect because you're going to learn, but you are who you are and stuff like that. And then there was another chapter there was, we can disagree but still be friends. And I'm starting to put all this
Mm,
together and think to myself, well, hang on. If all of these people are unique and I'm unique, there is no way in the wide world that I'm going to see what they see, agree with what they're going to
mm-hmm.
do. But
Mm-hmm.
the point is that they're allowed to have that opinion just as much as I'm allowed to have mine, and it's probably just as valid as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
started thinking that there was a disconnect between the way I was thinking and the way I saw the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Tracy sort of opened a few doors for me, and then I thought, okay, this there's a lot here to look at. And I've joined in her Thrivers group. I've been with it now for 2 years now. I think the retarded learner. No, I keep going back. I keep learning different things and stuff like that. I've
Yep.
got one basic. We're sort of told to look after, to look out for our basic concepts and stuff like that. And my core belief is not to judge. And
Mm,
I've learned that through Tracy because it's kind of like you can have opinions, but that might be your
mm-hmm.
truth. It might not be their truth. There's no way in the world I can understand A.B. Charlton. I can
Mm-hmm.
get in your head. I do not know what's happened to you,
Mm-hmm.
what you've been doing, what you've been through, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way no I can judge another person because I just have no idea who they
Of
are,
course.
and
Yep.
therefore I accept them for who they are. I accept them for opinions, and say, yeah, that's great. I can see why you could have that opinion. I might not share it, but the point is we don't have to be enemies because of that. And it's a really great thing to go through, like presenting just who you are as a
Mm-hmm.
person,
Yep.
knowing who you are as a person, and not. I think back in the old days, I used to try and act like the person I thought that people needed me to be. That might have been a
Okay.
father, that might have
Yep.
been a husband, it might have been a friend and stuff like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
was always sort of acting that this is what they want off me, and therefore I'm going to be that. I was a bit like a chameleon, if you like. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to think being a chameleon was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're adaptable. But I found out that no, being a chameleon just fools yourself. There's only
Yes.
one me. I've learned who I am. You might like it, you might hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help that. I can't do anything
That's it.
about that. But then
Doesn't
when I see
matter.
people, yeah, and then when I see other people who they complain about other people and stuff like that, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I use an example of my oh, a good friend of mine, okay, and he's he's a little bit autistic, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
people used to take him the wrong way, and he used to irritate the crap out of me, quite frankly, because I did not understand his ways, and I thought, oh, man, come on, get over this sort of stuff. And I realised the problem was never him. He presented himself the same way every single time I came.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing about him but who he was. And the
Mm-hmm.
problem was not his, the problem was mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realised that it was my problem and not his problem, I then, could see that to accept people for who they are is just the way to live your life, because fundamentally, you can fit them in your life any way you want. You set your own boundaries and stuff like that. But ultimately, if you want to make change, you can get them to change yourself, because you're not going to change them. It's not going to happen. If you've got a
Yes.
problem with your best friend, don't look to change them, because they're not going to change.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of realization with Tracy, and understanding who you are and how you relate to other people. It's just liberating to be able to just go through life and say, that's it. It's all you get. You can like me. You don't have to like me. That's up to you. And I can't change whether you like me or not anyway. And I wouldn't want to try anyway. And it's just a comfortable way to live your lifestyle. So that matches up really well with the lifestyle choices as well, because you get that. And stress is huge. I mean, that physical stress manifests itself in so many biological ways to disrupt your body. So to be able to live a lifestyle that's free of, well, it doesn't free you of stress, but it makes you calmer. It lets you see people. It lets you accept people. And most importantly, you can look in the mirror and turn around and say, look, I'm fine. This is it. I will present, but I will not judge you. So, people who know me know that it doesn't matter what they do or what they say. I'm not going to judge them because I don't know them. Okay. And I think that's that's my core belief, and it works for me. And other people might say it's going to be kindness and stuff like that. But I think with core beliefs like don't judge, is you can look in the mirror as well and turn around and say, I'm not going to judge me either. Okay. And you as a person, if you go through your weight loss journey and and you crash, you have your chocolate, or you go out to a dinner and have the wrong thing, something like that, don't judge yourself. Don't be that hard on
Yes,
yourself.
that's
You're that human. You're that person you need to be considerate with as well. I mean, you've gone through a lot as well to make you who you are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it spreads out to the world and stuff like that. Tracy, I could not recommend Tracy highly enough to sort of like help you with insights and stuff like that. She's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's helped me a lot. So
Great.
that
Yeah.
part of it.
For our listeners, if you want to check out tracymcbeath.com.au, she's got The Art of Thriving. She's got a couple of books which will help with your mindset and improve mental health. And now she's got a cravings course or something. Yeah, that's
Apparently so.
amazing. I love all that you said. I love your journey and how you worked on your body and now worked on your mind, and improving a lot and feeling much better in yourself.
Yeah, it's been great.
Great. All right, that's almost an hour already. So yeah. Thank you so much, Barry, for sharing all your insights, your journey, and all that you have gone through.
It's been a pleasure, Avi, and I hope you can get to many, many more people out there to help them, because you're a fantastic resource. I hope people get to use you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I've got a few more people lined up for podcasts just to share their journey, insights, and some of them are professionals, some of them are not. It doesn't matter. And everyone who's listening to the podcast are most welcome to come and see me as a doctor in the Melbourne Low Carb Clinic, or you can join my Facebook group called Melbourne Low Carb Clinic Free Community. And Barry is kindly helped me to do some of the administrative work and do some help in the Facebook group. So yeah, thank you again for helping me in the group, Barry.
A pleasure, Avi. Thank you very much.
Great. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm so glad you're all listening and come to the journey. And until next time, stay healthy. Before we finish, I want to tell you about an exciting event I'll be hosting. I have planned a low-carb dinner at Bucatini Restaurant in Mitcham on Saturday, 18th of May, 6:30. Please join us in this event with delicious food, inspiring conversations, and practical insights on how to live a low-carb lifestyle. I have invited health coach Charlene Nesta and nutritionist Carla Veed Carter as guest speakers. I have organised sponsors with prizes in the goodie bags. We have plenty of time to ask questions and connect with each other. And we'll have an amazing lucky draw with lots of contribution from our sponsors. So please join me in this amazing event I have put together for you. Don't miss out, reserve your spot, tickets are limited. Head to my website or check out the show notes for more details. Hope to see you there. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and motivating. Remember, your health journey is a marathon, not a sprint. Implementing small, sustainable changes over time can lead to sustainable improvements in your well-being. Remember, these podcasts are not to be treated as medical advice. You should see your own doctor for medical treatment, or you can come in to see me in my clinic in Melbourne Low Carb Clinic, face-to-face or telehealth Australia-wide. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate and review us on your favourite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and continue bringing you valuable content. I also want to invite you to head to the website of Melbourne Low Carb Clinic to download a free ebook and join my free community on Facebook. Stay connected with us on the socials. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends and family who might benefit from our discussions. Until next time, keep prioritizing your health and embrace the power of lifestyle medicine. Take care and see you soon on Prescribing Lifestyle.